Hello, I'm going to start a new series of videos because my system is kind of blocked up with stuff I've done over the years. So I'm still using 2023 version. I'm kind of starting to use 2024. So I've migrated my sentence to 2024. So 2025, I'm going to start to set up. Uh, I'm going to start setting it up from the beginning, from scratch, and try not to migrate anything. So I've already installed it, so when you go to open it, it gives you the options if you want to transfer your settings or migrate them from a previous version. So I have not done that. So I'm going to go in and go through some of the things. I have some notes here, and I'll see if I can set it up. So first we'll go into the settings, maybe have a look at the prototype and stuff like that. Not a prototype, sorry, a template file, and we'll see how that goes. It'll probably be a good few series of videos covering a couple of hours. Um, I don't need to show this again. United States is good for me. You may, if you want to find that again, you can find it in the sentence. So, first of all, it comes in with just these sample projects, I guess. So, first of all, we'll just open a template, I guess. So we'll open this as a template file, and we'll see if we go to save this. Just give it a second. All right, so we have none of our toolbars or anything open. You can see my background is kind of a black, not black. I'm just going to draw a circle at the 0, 0 point so I know where the origin is. I'm going to draw a 5-foot circle. And so I usually do this just so I kind of know where the origin is. I'll draw a couple of lines in my X, Y, and Z direction, 10 feet. They can be any size you want, I guess, or you can just not do this. I also put in a compass because I feel like I forget the compass sometimes. So I just leave the compass in there and then I rotate it later. Compass, just gonna put it in there. Okay. Alright, so now I'm gonna save as. Alright, so if I open it there, let me just come back. If I go to start, sample files. I'm just checking. Usually when you open a template, it'll let you save it as a template. I'm just not sure where the template file is, so let me go back and we'll save as. This is version 2025, so we're going to go to the C drive and Autodesk. Sorry, program data, which may be hidden on your computer. 2025, USA, shared. Templates, and then you have to change this to DWT, and you can see they have templates in here. So I'll just name this as 2025. What I'm going to do is I'll probably migrate my template from another version, but I'm not going to migrate the whole thing. I'll just copy it over. So I'm going to save that, and Okay. If I go into units here, just to check the units, so I just typed in units, architectural 1/16th, and you can set the precision here a little higher for this if you want. Maybe 4 zeros. Okay. So that's still in the template. So save as, it's still going to save it as the template. So save again. So if you want, then you can also put some cameras in here or something. I won't get into that now. Maybe do that later. I have videos on that already. So I'm just going to check. The background is black, but it's not black enough. Also, my pick box and my UCS here, my cursor. So we want to put in options, I think, right? Options. Display. Alright, so let's have a look at the display. 2D model space, it's not black. I want it to be black. Apply and close. So see the way it's gone a lot blacker. It'll make it a lot easier on your eyes, I think. Color scheme, dark is good. Colors, sheet layout, uniform background, but it's white. Want that to be black also. Some of these you can change later. These settings don't really matter in the drawing template. It's universal. Save and close option, incremental save percentage. You can change this to whatever you want. 10 minutes between saves, maybe 5 minutes. Apply, plot. Okay. System, graphics, performance. Yeah, I have to have a look at that, see if that's set properly, but I'm not worried about that. So drafting, auto snap, aperture, cameras, 3D modeling, label axis and standard crosshairs, show labels for dynamic. And I'm just going to use XYZ. And apply selection. I'm going to make the pick box a little bigger. I'll leave the grip size for now. Apply, okay. So you can see now we have the XYZ. Something that I haven't been able to find recently was my the size of my crosshairs. I can't remember where that is. It's got to be in here somewhere, right? 3D modeling. View cube, walk of flying animation. Alright, I won't worry about it for now. I forgot to look for it beforehand. There's a setting here somewhere that I can make it bigger. Display, is it here? Crosshair size, there you go. So we'll change that to 20 maybe and we'll see what it's like. Apply, okay. So you can see now it's bigger. Maybe 20 is too big. So I'll make it 15. 15. Okay. That's a little bit more like what I use. So if you want now, let's just put in one camera for an example. So let's open up our connection vault. So let's see what we got. So we can see we have no favorites, and these are not docked together because it's opening them at the same time. So move this away and then move it back, and now they'll be together. So there's nothing in my favorites. So right now you can add a couple to your favorites. You know, you want the base plate. I would say add them in order. So let's take the base plate off. Let's go to beams. I think Clip angle 1 is a good one, so you want to add that. You want to have the double clip angle, add that. Single-sided end plate. I'm just looking for the shear plate because shear plate. Right, so on. And then you're going to add the base plate, and then when you go back to your favorites, you're going to have some favorites in here, okay? In the order you put them in. So there's some favorites in here. We just have the basics. We don't have the extra section I had my other, but let's go in. We were going to do a camera, right? So let's come here. Let's do a camera view. Now we'll just put it over here to the side, and let's say we call this a node camera, and we'll just say it's detail. We'll call it a detail. Doesn't matter. Don't need to put a name in if you don't want to. Draw in style. Right now we haven't created any of our own, so we're going to go in and we're going to pick, it's going to be like a detail, right? So we're going to come here, detail view, this one here, pick that one, and either 1 is to 1 or 1.5 to 1. Front, rear, let's do something like 6 and 6. This doesn't matter really. And we'll do 36 by 36 for now. Alright, so now that camera should be in there when we come in. When we open our template again, and the compass should be in there. Now, also in this template, we want to come in here. We don't need to set any of these things because all these are probably going to change, but let's go to length, units, inch, architectural, 01, that's okay. Angle, degrees, we can also set this to 4 zeros, okay. Alright, so let's say you're pretty happy with that template, so let's save as again. Just make sure it's going to save as a template. Save it. Yes. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to close that. It's already saved. So if I hit this button here, it should open in that new template. Right, it doesn't for some reason. So I'm trying to remember what I did, because mine opens automatically in this template all the time. So do you want to save changes? No. So what I'm going to do is we're going to open that template, open file, cancel, we're going to do new. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Let me close that. So maybe if I open it here, there's a couple of different ways to open them, and sometimes when you go to save them, they're not saving them as a DW. So if I do save as, it's still going to treat it as a drawn template as opposed to a drawing. Yeah, so that's still treating that as a drawing. So let me close that again. All I'm trying to do is have it so that when I click the plus button that it will open this template, but as a DWG. So let's see if we do it this way it works. Save as. Maybe I saved it back in here as a DWG. Yeah, there's some way to set that so it opens the previous one. I'll have to get back and look at that, because let's not save that. I don't know if I clicked a setting originally in here to always open. Yeah. Alright, for now we'll have to just open a template. So there is, I know on my other system when I click the plus button it opens up automatically in the template. So I'll have to try and revisit that. Because you don't want to open the template and then it's automatically going to want to save it as a template either. You want it to open. So there used to be a section here that would open template, which isn't here. Explore sample drawings, new, browse templates, create sheet set. For now, you just want to open your template then, I guess, and just work on it. But the problem is saving it now. If it's opening as a DWT, when you go to save as, it automatically wants to save it as a DWT. So what I'll do is I'll just change it automatically, and I'll save it in a location where we can not worry about it. So I'll just save it in here. What do we call it? Setup. 25. Alright, so we'll save that, and then you want to go. So we've changed some of our backgrounds, something that's your drawing styles, your drawing process, your templates. We haven't created any of our own yet, but we don't need the system ones because they're already copied in the user ones. So all these ones, to get rid of this flag, so every time you don't have to turn this on and off. It's not that much of an annoyance, but it's just better to get rid of it. So you can see right now you have the option to switch from the system to the user, and the same in all of these. So I'm going to go into the drawing styles, and first I'm going to turn these off. And if we come in here, you want to come in here and pick all of these. And as you can see, I've messed that up. So I'm going to cancel out of that. I'm going to go back in. You have to make sure you're in the advanced. I was turning off all the user ones. So let's go into the advanced and then click. If you click on the folder on the top, it gives you the options, whether they're available or not. So basically you want to go through and do this for each of those sections. And then what happens is you have to close them and then shut down and restart Advanced Steel for it to take into effect. It's kind of like a reboot, I guess, for the system. So right now we have done the drawing styles, apply. I did use there, I should have just did okay, but if you go back in, you'll see that they're gone. So if I come back up to advanced, you can see they're all turned off. Okay, close that out. Do the same in the drawing processes. Advanced drawing process. Click on the top one. Click on all these. Now, these videos are going to be a little longer because I will go through the process. I'm not going to speed it up. So I'm going to do it as quick as I can, but you know, hopefully you can keep up if you want to do it at the same time rather than shortening it down. So Alright. These two are easier. It's slightly more work in the bill of materials, I think, but it's not that much either. Just cleans it up a little bit. Okay, so apply. Okay. Alright, so we're good there. So the bill of materials one is here, and then we'll do that one also, and then we're going to close them all, and then we're going to restart, and then we're going to see what we have. I guess this is the first time it's opening, so it's going to take a second, or else I closed it by accident. It says initialize and still wait, so that's taking its time. So it's open. So let's make this a little bigger. So there's a couple of different areas, but I think some of these are already turned off anyway. So if we come here, we can see here are our options. And then we want to go to the next list. And then the next list. And so on. If you turn every one of them off, then the American flag will disappear and it'll always be in your user settings. Because if you plan to set up your system, you're not going to be using any of the out-of-the-box ones anyway. So there's no point in leaving them on. So let's come in here. Some of these are already turned off, as you can see, because these are metric. And then let's go to the drawing list. Drawing list, let's turn these off. We will later be copying some of these and making new ones with our own logos and stuff. Alright, so it looks like I have them all deleted there. Yeah, they're the metric ones. Parts list. Okay, just double checking. Okay, alright, so that looks good. Let's do okay. So that should be good. So now when we close this out and save advanced steel, that's my setup file, and then close down. And I guess the second bill of materials was open because it's right there. And let's open that again. So that was 2025. Now we'll go into the management tools and we'll do some settings. These are things I got from, I think David Naylor did a document years ago. And it was useful and I took some notes of it. So like stuff like setting up your hole size, the default diameter for standard holes and stuff like that. So let's see, now when we open again, it's a little slow. Alright, you can see this has even changed. Before this list was sorting by list view, now it's sorting by image. I like it sorted by list view. So let's just check one time if I do plus here, if it has reset to open that drawing style automatically. No, it hasn't, I don't think. No, so it didn't. So we'll close that again. We won't save it and we'll just open that file that we had open. So I don't know why that's not working. It does matter because usually when I start a project I just click on that plus button and then I work away. Okay. So we're going to go into the settings. So first of all, in here in the management tools, there's an options and other settings. So the current author. So you can change the current author. So I'm going to create a new one. And this is where you can turn on your country settings again. So our company set author key and author name. So I'm just going to put in the company name. Alright, so now that's set, and then I'm going to go back to home. I'm going to go to defaults, and up here, if I go to this second one, so this, you can see in here, you can set up for each different company, so you can have the defaults set differently if you want. So I'm going to create a new profile, ADM. So now I have a second profile. I also have other clients, but they usually mostly use the same settings. But I can put in another company, but just make sure I go back to my one. Alright, so I'm going to have a look at some settings in here. So we'll use the filter, and we'll put in the diameter for holes, and default. Let's see if it's default diameter. Drawing label, general. So you can see the default diameter for standard holes is 13/16. So it doesn't, it expects you to put on the drawing that every hole is 13/16, except for when but it's better to have every hole labels. So just change this to 1/16 because there is no 1/16 hole. So it doesn't. Alright, so 1/16 hole. So if you click on this over here, it'll load the settings. So 1/16 hole. And then the weld size. So that's the hole done. We'll do the similar thing with the weld size. Drawing presentation. Weld size and drawings is 1/16. So that's good. That should be set to that. Yeah, so that's good. That should be set like that. So any weld that comes up that's not 1/16. So I can put in 1/16 as a dummy weld and it won't show up. What do we do next? Text for compass is 1. Drawing presentation. So if you want to change this, you can. The text for compass and details. So I guess it was advised in that document to change this, because this will show up now that there's 2 columns east. I leave the number there. Some people like to just have the orientation, which is probably advisable. For now, I'm just going to leave it. It's just because I don't always have the direction change the number, so I may have 2 in either direction for beams, and I don't want it. If there's 4 in total, I want them to know in the shop that there's 2 going one way and 2 going the other way, as opposed to maybe 1 and 3 or whatever. So I'm going to leave that. The one for cut views, I think, drawn presentation, display a cut symbol for end plate views. So I like to have this on. It shows a symbol, so you can, it's not just giving you a projected view, it's showing you that it's a section. So I would turn that on. Let's see, let's load them settings, and let's come back down here and level symbols. As I said, these are mostly from that document that I read years ago. Colors, general, standard, labeling, text. level symbol, arrow size, trim zeros. Do we want to trim the zeros? Unchecked. We don't want them because we do want it to show 8-foot 0 and not just 8-foot, right? And the text size for level symbols. Where is the text size for level symbols? 1/16 is too small. Usually put this up to maybe 1/8. 1/16 is very small. Load them as well. There's a level symbol prefix. Level symbol. So you can see here it just has a dash. So here we'll put in EL, both in capital, so we don't mistake the L for an I. So that's going to be the level symbol prefix. And there's level symbol suffix, level dimension. And then there's the level dimension, so foot architect, okay. Level dimension. Level dimension. EL, so, I mean, do you want that? EL is kind of hard to see, so I usually put that as a capital. Then we do want to do the zeros. We don't want zeros suppressed, usually. So drawing, labeling, trim zeros, level symbols. Bill of materials, so that one is okay. Suppress the last zero used for BOM. Uncheck that, so that's already unchecked. So any of these ones you want unchecked, and the symbol is 0. Let me check if there was another one. That's that same one. Hide 0 sign for feet, no. Hide 0 sign for inch, no. And then no. So that's good. So that's mostly it. Is there something else? Scale, or the scale fraction height, which is a little off. Scale, general. Scale factor for the lists, and fraction height. Fraction height is 0.6, which is still a little small. It used to be 0.5, I believe, 75. So change that to 0.75. Text size for scales and drawings. 3/16. There's development views. Development view, I guess. Underdeveloped. Radius dimension type. You know, the options are the inside dimension and the outside dimension. So usually the inner dimension, as it's easier to measure, and usually that's what you would want. So I'm going to have it give the inner dimension for now. Just keep it in mind that that's in the sentence here. And so that's good. And load that. And revision. Let's see if there's something with revision index. Date format used for revision table. Regional, okay. Revision index used for details before any revision. I'm okay with 0. I think that document was suggesting NA for not applicable. I'm okay with 0 on mine, I think. There's a bunch of other stuff for revisions. There's a lot of stuff in here. Sorry. There's a lot of stuff in here, so a little hard to remember where everything is. Here you can see the font in here for revision table. So, you know, just type in revision if you want to fix something, so you can change the type of font, the size of font, all with clouds, dimensions with clouds, labels with different color. So this is something you might want to have a look at in here when you're doing revisions. I don't generally let Advanced Steel mark up the revisions because it puts clouds everywhere. But as you can see, you can change that in there a little bit, right? So that's, you could be in here for 2 weeks, so we're not get too bogged down. Revision index when it comes on. Revision index. Show the revision index. Do we want to show the revision index all the time? Yeah, we do. So set that to on. And then there's one with lot phase, which you don't really need to set either. But I think I will. Lot phase. So you have numbering. Lot phase used for main part, numbering. Beam, lot phase used for numbering. Plate, lot phase used for numbering. So we would check these on, so it'll automatically use them for numbering. Because if you're using lot phase, you want to use the lot phase, I guess. So I'm not 100% on this one either. I don't think I previously had it set to on. I'm going to set it to on here and see how it goes, and I'll know to go back in. So right now, that's a lot of stuff done in there. That's kind of basic stuff. You know, if you come in here, you can see there's a bunch of other stuff. If I go down to drawing general in here, automatically check status. Allow duplicate shop drawings. I do not want that on, right? Because you don't want to create 2 parts of the same. You don't want to create two similar drawings. Sorry, I'm yawning. Behavior from main part beams on shop drawings. I want to create both the main part and the single part. And I want to create both the main part and the single part. Behavior for standalone parts on shop drawings for beams. I'm going to create only the single part, and I'm going to create only the single part for the plate. So these are standalone parts. Now you can see there's a bunch of other stuff in here. Default view request for callout views. That's okay. I'll change these later when I advanced. So I'll probably come in and change these later. Detailed prototype file. You can see that's the detailed prototype file. I don't know if there is a D in here. I don't use E, I use D. So let me see if I change that to D. There should be a D in there, right? Alright, so yeah, so we'll leave that for now. Sorry, I'm just trying to think if there's anything else important. As you can see, there's a bunch of stuff in here, a lot of things to go through. My company, prefix for runtime name, copy. Alright, okay. For now, we're probably okay with that. So let's close this. Let's load it first, and then set that. So now we've reset that. I'm going to close this. We can save it. And we're going to close this. Did we? Oh, I think we already closed, didn't we? Sorry. We did already close. I just never checked drawing styles. Sorry. So we'll have the setup done here. I guess we should in the next video cover bringing in prototypes, whether we're creating new ones or bringing in ones from the previous version of Advanced Steel. Just wondering, it seems the system variable changed. Just wondering, it seems to be taking a little longer to open than previous versions, and you can see that seems a little jerky there. It's not responding to my mouse the way I would like. I'm not sure what that is. Drawing style, drawing process. You can see right now there's no flags up here, so we have succeeded. These are not stuck together though, so let's stick them together. And then let's turn on your Project Explorer. So in your prototype, you probably want to set up some queries as well. So we've no queries set up, so we'll go back to the prototype maybe at a later time. So right now we have created a couple of favorites. We have fixed our drawing styles, and we're kind of ready to go. We have our unit set up. We have our options set up. Trying to think what else. We did a lot of stuff in the management tools. You know, there's a couple other things we can do actually. Let me maybe add some materials, some coding. Yeah, so let's go into management tools again. And we want to go to object property editor. So let's say you want to add a new material. You just come in here and you can add new. So you want to put in the information that you have in here. So the material is a little bit more complex than the rest, but coding you can have yeah, so you can just put in a new one here. You just go new and just go like maybe dynamic paint. And then the name on the drawing, just keep them the same if you want. So you can see there's no, so apply. And then new, you might do fireproofing. Now these will be available when you go in and you create a beam or whatever. So fireproofing, so we've created two. You can delete them if you want. Some people recommend to put them in capital so they know you're yours, but does it really matter? I mean, do you really want to delete them? And then it just kind of looks funny. So that's for coatings and model roles. We can put in some model roles and approval status. So we'll do a model role. So we can see if we'll scroll down through here, we can see there's no model role for channels. So what we do is I'll just go to beam. It doesn't really matter, but just gives you an idea. All straight plane here. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go CHANNEL channel, and then I'm going to come in here and all straight linear planar elements. I'll keep it the same as it was for beams. So now I've created a new model role called channels. I'm also going to create another one for grout. Now this is grout for plates, so you could just put it for all elements if you want. You could put it for all concrete objects. A lot of times I use it for plates also, so I'll just do all objects, apply. So then you can see there should be grout here. Now I don't need to number the grout, so I don't need to worry about that, but I do need to number the channels. So we'll have a look at that in a minute. Bold coatings, same thing. You can just create a new one if you want. Notes, approval comments. We won't worry about that, but approval status. We can use this. So the colors are important here. So there's green, yellow, white, red, orange. So let's say I want to create a new one. So approved is green. So I'll create a new one. And I'll also make it green, but maybe a different green. And we'll do for fabrication. You can decide whether you want it to be capitals or whatever for fabrication. Okay. And then, honestly, I like to have a couple of approved ones with different colors. Because then they'll all kind of say approved. So what I do is, this is a kind of a trick of mine, but see, the color green is for go, right? So now I already have two that are green. So what I can do is I do approved, and then I'll just put a dot after it. And then I'll pick like a real light green or something so you can see the difference. Apply. So, you know, you probably also want one that says not approved. So let's say you go to rejected, new, and then we'll do not approved. Now you may want to put that one in capitals, but it kind of looks funny if you don't keep them all the same. So not approved. So not approved, and we'll put that in a kind of a red here, like something like that. All right, so now we have these new approval statuses, and that's good for now. Apply. All right, so these now will be available. Let's see if we draw in a beam here. And also when you're modeling, I guess now that we're doing it, when you're modeling in, as soon as this opens, you have this available to you, a drop-down menu of how this macro will behave the next time it opens. So if I set that to the top and then I come up here and I go to position, is going to be remembered for the next time. If I go to name, and this is not a channel, right, obviously, but let's say we put this as a beam, right, because it is a beam. And if I right click on the top here, it's not taking any of these things into account. So I want to check that box for model role, so the next time the model role will be available. You can also check the box for lot phase if you want, so the same lot phase comes in. I don't usually tick the lot phase box, to be honest. So that's going to be a beam. So right now we have a beam. So let's say we split that beam in half. So I'm going to select that beam and I'm going to split it in the middle. And then I'm going to select this end and I'm going to change it to a channel. So let's go to channels, MC, whatever, it doesn't matter. 8x20, naming, it's coming in as a beam because I already put it as a beam and it's split. So if I change this to channel, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. So that's going to be channel. Now you can see the system line is not where I really want it, so because it was set for the beam. Now if I draw another beam in here and I make it a channel, and it doesn't matter, we can make it, it doesn't have to be the same naming. See, it's coming as a beam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 channel, and then if I do it again, this one should come in as a channel because that time I changed it to channel. So you can see it's coming as channel. Alright, so we won't beat around the bush, we'll take them away. So so this one here, let's say we want to change the coating on this. So we have added some new coating. We have fireproofing. We have dynamic paint somewhere there. So you can also add new material if you want. Position is good. Naming is good. So that's good. So I'm trying to remember where I was going with this. Alright, so now we've changed the material on this. I guess the numbering is an issue. So right now if I number this, so the way I usually number is come up here and single part for main part equals assembly number, and prefix, and then the counter and the numbering method. The numbering method I want it to be here. So this other numbering method is it gives it a placeholder, and then when you put the piece on a drawing, then it gives you a drawing number. So I don't use that, to be honest with you. So I just put one sheet per drawing, which is easier, I think. So I'm just going to go through the way I do it. In here you have the availability of other options, which I don't use that often. You can exclude stuff here. Here standard part template, so you can save a drawing in a given location. Let me show you. If I come up here, I'm going to go to 2023 just to go back to 2025 USA and shared support. So it's in here, documents, prototypes. Let me see, is it on the other side? I'm trying to remember where it is. Sorry, toolbars, that's obviously not it. Alright, so it must have been on the other side, I just didn't see it. So there's going to be a folder where you want to put these standard part templates. I guess it must be just in that template folder, because that covers, oh, standard part template, there it is. So save it in here, and then if you have clips that you want to be A1001 all the time and you have them numbered in that template, it'll reference those clips. So that can be useful depending on what your client wants. Apply, okay. So it's just going to number that one, and it's come up with a B1. So I'm like, I don't want that to be a B1. That's not a B1, right? I want that to be a channel. Some people might want to number it as a B1. I don't. So I'm going to back out of that. Equal parts detected. Once you go past the equal parts detected, that usually means the numbering has gone away. So there, the numbering is gone. So if I number this beam now, it'll be B1. No, it's going to be, right. So what happened there is I'm going back now, my numbering, I didn't update the numbering because I backed through what I had set up. So when I undid whatever I set in here. So I'm going to go back in and set this again. And apply, okay. So now it's named the two of these because I didn't pick anything. So again, another mistake by me. So what we'll do is instead this time we will, well, we'll check the behavior first. So this is the prefix button up here. If I click on these prefixes and we want to go to user and right click and just check that. Now you can also set up new projects in here. I'm just going to come in here and go under beams because we create channels which are a part of the beam category. So I'm going to pick one like this and I'm just going to create a new one. Object type, it's going to be a beam, and the model role is going to be channel, which we created, so it should now be available in here, channel, and the sub profile any. Okay, so now it wants to know how to number this, so I'm going to say I want it to have a small ch for single part and a big ch for an assembly. Apply. Okay, now this has already been numbered, so this number probably will not change here. No, it did change, but the problem is I don't want now my B2 to start at that number either, because now I've just skipped B1 because I renumbered this one. Now if it was the other way around it would have been okay, but so just pick the two of them and come up here and delete the number, yes, and then click this one and click on the two of these and delete the number, yes, and then number without picking anything. It'll just number, well, it'll number everything, not just. Okay, and then we should have a B1 and a CH1. So now we have created new material, we've created new model role, we've also changed the prefix. You can go in, you're going to do probably some more beams and stuff like that, more model roles. The more model roles, the more control you have over it inside your drawing style. So I think I'm going to leave the first video at that, and I'll try and take off from here, whether I maybe cover some drawing styles in the next video. Trying to think of the best way to move forward with this. I'm kind of just flying by the seat of my pants here. I don't have time to start laying out plans or anything, so I hope it was useful. If there's any feedback, let me know, and I'll keep doing the videos I'll try and make it the whole way through the process to get your system fairly well set up. So I hope that helps. Alright, take care.